Hey everyone, in this video we're going to have a look at multiplying and dividing surds, and we've already had a quick look at some of these. Um, just get my pen. Alright, square root of 18, we've seen in the last section we can write that or express it as 9 times 2, remembering one of these numbers come from a perfect square. Alright, and then we're splitting it up. Alright, and making it simple. So we've done a bit of practice using that, and remembering that that property is coming from one number times another is 1 times the other. So we can actually use the reverse of that property by saying that when we have one surd and we multiply it by another surd, we actually get the square root or the surd of the first number times the second. Okay, so it works both ways. So when multiplying surds, as we can say, the first surd times the second surd is the square root of first number times the other. We can also say, for example, if we had a number in front of that first surd, so a is just a number, times b, which is another one. Alright, well that would just be a times b times the x and y underneath the square root. So for example, if we had 2 root 3 times, let's say 3 root 3, well, that would simply be 2 times 3, that number and that number, times the square root of 3 times 3. Okay, and you'd be able to simplify it as a 6 times the square root of 9. For this example, you could probably simplify that 9 as well. But just as you can see, we're using that property. Okay, so that's multiplying surds, and just like dividing, where we had the square root of one number divide another was 1 over the other. Okay, we can also use the reverse. So when dividing, right, the first surd divide the second surd could be expressed as the first number over the second. And just like multiplying, if we had a number in front of the first surd and a number in front of the second, we can actually say it's that number a over b outside of the square root, and then you got the x and y. The last one is our distributive law. We've seen this in algebra when we have a, b plus c, some number, another, and another. Right, in brackets, we can multiply them out to get AB plus AC. So we'll be using these properties in this section. So moving on to example 6, simplifying the following: the square root of 2, square root of 3. Alright, just like before, it's the first number times the second number, and we get the square root of 6. And another one, 2 root 3, 3 root 15. Alright, here's our A and B. So we'd say A times B. In this case, it was 2 times 3. And inside the square root, we'd get 3 times 15. So 6, 15 times 3, get 45. Now, 45 is quite a large number. I can probably simplify that a little bit. 45 is the same as 9 times 5, 9 being a perfect square. Alright, square root 9, square root 5, we get 3 root 5. So here I can say square root of 45 is 3 root 5, and 6 times 3 is 18. So even though we are using the same process, we still need to simplify it a little bit more. So that's a good starting point, but we eventually want to be able to get down to this spot here, where we simplify it as much as we can. Example 7, minus square root 10, and we're dividing it by the square root of 2. Right, using the division property, I'll first write it as a fraction. Okay, and that's just going to be one large fraction, except that negative, that's the same as minus 1. Okay, minus 1 out the front, 10 over 2, minus 1, 10 over 2 is 5. And part B, 12 root 18 over 3 root 3. Okay, it'll be the outside numbers, 12 and 3. Large square root, we've got 18 and 3. 12 over 3 is 4. 18 over 3 is 6. And last example, example 8, we're using our distributive law to expand square root 3, 3 root 5, take square root 6. Alright, so it's going to be the first square root 3 times 3 root 5 minus square root 3 times square root 6. And now using our multiplying of surds, bring that number out the front. We have the surds together. Okay, and 3 times 5 is 15, and 18. And I can probably go a little bit further. 15 I can't do much with, but the square root of 18 is the same as 9 times 2. So it'll be 3 root 2. Just to tidy it up a little bit. And the last one, okay, using our distributive law, we have those two multiplied together. Right, so it'd be 3 times 2, and we'd have 6 times 10. And then the second, so you'd have 3 times 4, and square root 6 times 6. So 3 times 2 is 6, 6 times 10, 60, 4 times 3 is 12, and you get 36. Now, it just so happens 36 is a perfect square. 6 is 36. So we can simplify that straight away. And we can probably simplify 60 as well as 4 times 15. So 2 root 15. Okay, and just tidying it up, 6 times 2 is 12, square root 15, 12 times 6 is 72. Okay, so that's multiplying, dividing surds. Have a go at the question now. Thanks for watching.